So good morning to all of you. Welcome to Namaste Village. It is Tuesday, and we have made a resolute decision. You wouldn't be here if you didn't make a resolute decision. First of all, you've made a resolute decision to either come down from your room, have some breakfast, and sit here in these chairs, or you've made the decision to stop whatever you're doing for a few moments, get online, and join. But wherever we are, whatever's happening, we've made a resolute decision. And it is this resolute decision that makes all the difference. Now, today, we are going to make a new resolute decision. And that resolute decision is going to be to simply I. We could say the I within the I am. So I want to begin by talking about the reduction within the most powerful statement in the history of the world. The most powerful statement in the history of the world, from my perspective, is simply this. Because everything is here. Everything you need is here. That statement is, I am that I am. Now we can add commas like I do in the Moses Code. We can talk about that name that was given to Moses at the burning bush, but there it is. I am that I am. But immediately we can see a whole world within that one statement, and it begins to reduce and become more and more simple, because salvation is simple. Realization is simple. So it begins with I am that I am. Then it becomes simply, I am that I. You see that? I am that I. But then we come back again, and because we're going to come back to the I in the very beginning. The very beginning is going to show us exactly what this is. Then it becomes I am that. And then I am. And finally, I. The presence of I. We've been told, and we believe, we know actually, that the I am presence has action. It has extension. I am that. I am that. I am that. I can look at any person and say, I am that. And that would be true. We are one. I am that experience. I am that light. I am that itself. But I began to hear this first through the voice of Joel Goldsmith, because I always thought that the I am presence was the ultimate step. But Joel was the one who helped me to see that it's a reduction even still. Because ultimately there is no extension of claiming. You see, the I am is always claiming something, someone, as opposed to simply resting within the presence, the present moment, the present reality. This is the I within the I am. This is where it all really takes place. So I want to read something that I just wrote down right before session started. Here it is. All that is already is. It's an interesting statement. All that is already is. Losing sight of the sun does not mean that the sun has disappeared. Clouds may obscure, or the rotation of the planet may hide, but the sun is always radiating itself. It's nice when we have very obvious analogies that we can apply to this. It was once believed that when the sun would disappear behind clouds or would rotate to the other side of the planet, that the sun was gone. But it will return, don't worry. The sun will return. The sun is never gone, just as the divine within you is never gone. It may be obscured, it may be forgotten, but it always comes back because it is presence itself. Love is, and illusions can never be real. Life is, and dreams of death can never replace the eternal. You claim, I am that love, or I am life itself. And this is true. But there is a step beyond this I am, the step into ultimate presence. Ultimate presence. The step you are now ready to take. The I within I am. So I want to ask you now, are you ready to take that step?
Yes.
Do you feel that? Do you feel that presence of simply I, the full, unalterable presence of oneness within you? When we talk about non-dual reality, well, this is it. I. Not I as in the small I or the egoic I, the look at me I. It's the look at the I, the whole thing, which you have sight to see. You have sight to see the whole within a grain of sand. You have the sight to see the whole within whoever is standing in front of you. That is the whole thing right there. That is what non-dual reality is, if we would but have eyes to see it. So once again, you claim I am that love, or I am life itself, and that is true. But there is a step beyond this I am, the step into ultimate presence, the step that you are now ready to take, the I of I am. The only activity within this I is the extension of grace, love, light. This is the portal, and it literally is a portal in a very real way. This is the portal that leads to your eternal nature. This is the final step that is yours to take. And guess what? It's happening right now. It's not a step that you're going to take in the future. You can only take it now. It's not a step you're going to take one day. There's only right now. The question is, are you willing and ready to take it right now, to step into the I of I am? Well, guess what? There's a simple way of doing this. And I know that we all like the simple path into this experience. Gone are the days of needing to overcomplicate that which needs no complication. So last night, I was in my bathtub. Many of you know that this is when the greatest inspiration comes to me. There's something magical about being in hot water for me. It turns up the heat, and then when the heat is turned up, things begin to move. We can see, we can feel, we can know. So as I was soaking there in the hot water, I just felt the presence of an action, a movement into that I within the I am, into the experience of one. You see, I am, or I am that, still is extending not outside the one, but to the periphery of oneness. Why not stay right in the center? Right in the center of that holy wheel, the I within the I am. So I'm going to give you three things here, very simple. These are things that you can remember throughout the day. These are things, not even concepts, they're realities. But you're going to see that it applies to almost every single thing you do. I'm going to put it up on the screen here for just one moment. Here it is. These three things. I welcome. I allow. I dissolve. Just close your eyes for a moment and hear this. Don't try and get it, but realize it always had you. But this is what we are here to claim. Number one, I welcome. Number two, I allow. And three, I dissolve. So I want you to think about this for a moment, related to the experience of love with another person, the beloved, the lover. When you finally and ultimately surrender into that love, it always begins with a welcoming. I welcome you. That's the first step into a love relationship, to be welcomed. Until then, it's like, oh, hold on. I'm not there yet. How many of you ever felt that? Not quite there yet, but there comes a moment where you say, I welcome. Now love enters. The door has been opened and love has entered. Reminds me of the story I've told before about the man who goes to a village and he hears that there's a great saint who lives in a cabin in the forest, and that this saint, this holy mystic, can give you everything, the secret of life itself. So he goes to the cabin and he knocks on the door, and a voice comes from the inside, and the voice says, "Who is it?" And the man says, "It is I." And the voice inside says, "Go away, there's only room for one here." So the man leaves, and he goes away for a few days, but a few days later he thinks, gosh darn it, I really, really want to experience this. So he goes back and he knocks again. Once again, the voice comes from the inside and says, "Who is it?" He says, "It is I was told to come here." And the voice says, "Go away, there's only room for one here." So once again, he leaves, and this time he wanders for years, but never does he forget that desire. And so finally he goes back to that town, and he goes back to that cabin, and he knocks one more time. And again, the voice comes from the inside and says, "Who is it?" And the man says, "It is you." And the voice says, and the door opens, and the mystic inside says, "Please enter. There is only room for one here." Do you see? Welcome. We're welcomed by the beloved into love itself. But then the second step, because in a love relationship, now I have to allow. I have to relax and allow you to enter. It even sounds sensual, doesn't it? One of the things that I have always loved, being a Franciscan, there was a great mystic and princess named Agnes of Prague. Any of you know, have I talked about Agnes of Prague before? I have. Some of you have very good memories. I don't. I could say one thing today and say the same thing tomorrow and have no idea. That's living in the moment, right? But for those of you who don't know who Agnes of Prague is, she was literally a great princess. I feel like I said it recently. Oh, it's okay. I'll just go over very quickly. She was the daughter of the king of Bohemia. Every great prince and king desired her hand in marriage, but she didn't want to have anything to do with it. So she went and she hid in one of Claire's convents. And finally, when they came for her, she had fallen so in love with their life that she said, "I'm never leaving. I desire one thing." We could say the I within I am. The experience. Not the idea, not the concept, but the experience of love itself. And Claire would write her letters. Here's Claire right here. She would write her letters talking about the holiness of her decision, and she would use language that was sensual, letting God enter you. feeling the breath of the beloved. I love that here is this celibate nun living in the 13th century who knows that God is the lover, the beloved, and welcoming that lover, allowing that lover. And then what happens? Dissolving. I dissolve. Dissolving into the lover, which is really dissolving into love itself. Because ultimately there is no lover and beloved, there is only love. There is only love. And so this simple, I guess you could call it an idea, but it's a way of understanding that which has always been understood, a way of knowing that which has always been known within you, but in a way that we can relate, like a lover. I welcome, I allow, and I dissolve. It's that dissolving that is most important, but it cannot happen until I have welcomed and I have allowed, because I do have will. I have the will to say, maybe later. But remember, this is the required course. Only the time you take it is voluntary. So why not now? Why not this moment? Why not welcome this love that has always welcomed you? Why not allow it to enter in ways that you've never allowed it to enter before? And why not dissolve within that love so that all those boundaries and those blocks to love's presence will just be gone? So this is the simple path we walk. It is the path into love itself. And if we can remember these three things, maybe they will bring us back to that presence. Like it said in the very beginning of this sharing, all that is already is. All that is already is. Love already is. The truth within you already is true. You are whole, you are enlightened. How many times do we need to hear that? You are enlightened right now. You don't need to do anything. You just need to welcome, allow, and dissolve. And notice that at the very beginning of each of those is the word I. I welcome, the I within the I am. I allow, I dissolve. And when I dissolve, when there is no more of me and all of thee, we are home. So Victoria, I am your opening act as always. So I'm going to turn it over to you to take us home.
All right, Brother James. Well, you delivered. You really delivered. Thank you for the experience. And thank you for the whole understanding and experience of how you got there through the tub and the resting and the awareness and the experience coming into you, because you took us on that journey. And I think we all feel that. So it is so simple. The only thing that's why it's all about identity. The only thing that dissolves is any sense of, I want this, I want that, yes, but I need to understand this, I need to get that. That's all that dissolves. And when that dissolves, it's not by our doing anything, it's by our not doing anything. And this particular little formula that you gave today, I welcome, 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 welcome everything. What am I welcoming? I'm welcoming the appearances of separation, the world of time and space, and my reaction to it, the forms I see, the spirit I feel. I welcome everything and I allow it. And when I allow it and welcome it, I'm not resisting. This is like ancient Taoism. I'm not resisting anything. I'm letting it be. And by letting it be, not resisting it, what's false has to fall away. So the appearance world that we see and that we identify with, if we don't resist it and we just let it be, we allow it to be, and we allow ourselves to be. If we're in pain, if we're frightened, if we're lonely, we let that be. But by not doing anything with it, it has to dissolve, because the doing something with it is what has sustained a false identity. So by doing nothing, that's like letting, allowing. When we allow our fears, our hurts, our desires simply to be, but not chase them, not deny them, not do anything with them, we let everything be, and it has to fall away. If we're not pursuing it, sustaining it, thinking with it, this is what true mindfulness is. We slip into beingness, not thinking anymore. We're simply being. We're just allowing, we're being, and it has to dissolve into that simple presence of what we already are. And the simple presence, of course, is always only love that's attended by peace and joy. And there are not two ways about it. It is just our nature. And it is only through our own experience of not resisting in any way, not by defending, not by seeking, by not doing any of that, by simply allowing that the appearances of who we are, our identity, and all the attachments, that's all that's dissolving, are attachments to an appearance identity. That's what's falling away. Let it fall away, because everything gets restored by grace. Everything. And don't we want it by grace? You know, in the Course, Jesus says, the Holy Spirit will dream a dream for you that you have not dreamt. Yes, we're still here in time. And yes, we'll still have these little bodies that we seem to walk around in. But they'll be the communication vehicles that bring joy, because they only give and hear and receive and see only love. Only love. That's it. That's all that happens. So whatever we're concerned about, whatever it is, that's the formula, that's what putting something on the altar is, it's what entering the fire is, it's allowing everything to be. Our pains, our joys, our attachments, our expectations, good and bad alike, let them all be. And the adventure, and the wondrous adventure of being restored to the peace that we are, and then witnessing the unfoldment of grace where we find ourselves in time. If we need a glass of water, it will appear, just like manna in the desert, because we are back to being only identified with our source, which already was everything. Nothing's missing. Nothing can replace it. And all we're doing is we're finally being motivated enough to let the interruptions, the ideas that we made up, fall away into the nothingness that they are. They were all substitutes for this original peace, this original joy, this original innocence, this original resting spot. And in this resting spot, whatever is given us to do, it becomes the most exciting, wondrous joy for us to do it. This is all we're invited to. While we're here in time and space, this false identity that we've put so much into, recognize what identity is. It's the need to, I better understand this before I let it go. I better have this conversation before I let it go. I better go to this doctor before I let it go. I better this or that. No, there's no time like right now. Everything is available right now, because who we are is right now. And if we stop doing anything just being, if anything, be grateful. That's what I've learned. Just be grateful. Oh my God, thank you. Thank you that the truth of me is true. Here I am. Here I am. And let everything be what it is. Don't worry about it. Don't concern, nothing. Just let it have its say. Like what, like having a little child. Let that child speak. Wants to cry, wants to pout, wants to jump up and down. Let that child speak and let it allow it. And what is false falls away. And the light, the love is all that can stay because it's all that's real. And we are the bringers of reality into this time and space spot, realm that we find ourselves in. It's a realm of experience. It's not a realm of eternity. It's not a reality, but it is a realm of experience. And it is our gift to bring in the reality of love as our only being into this time space realm. That we can reach out to brothers who still believe in appearances, not by words, not by necessarily even actions, but by simple presence of being the joyful love and light that we finally know ourselves to be. So let it all dissolve. Thank you, Brother James, and thank you, everyone. This is so much fun that we're doing this together. Thank you. Thank
Yes,
you.
it is fun. And if it's not fun, what's the point? If we're not loving one another and happy and joyous, what's the point? Because to step into this experience is fun. It really is. I mean, you all know that. Why would you want anything else? Nothing else compares. Nothing compares to the experience of stepping into the one. And you put it so beautifully, Vicky. Just allow it all, the good, the bad, the indifferent. Just let it all in, give it no power, because there is only one power, only love. Let that be your mantra, only love, only love. Whenever anything shows up that seems to challenge, only love. When a beautiful child walks up to you and smiles, only love. That's always the answer. That's always the experience, only love. So I'm going to call on one other person here. And so the book that the Reverend Stephen and I have been working on, the 10 Symptoms of Enlightenment. Are you losing your mind or waking up? Is going on sale in about a week. And I know some of you have been sent the PDF for that, as well as for the Yeshua Code. Both books will be coming out in about a week. I hope you're already beginning to read that. And I saw that Reverend Stephen raised his hand and wanted to share something. So Stephen, the floor is yours.
Hey, James, thank you. And then I always rethink it because I type that in there and then I follow you and then follow Vicky, and I'm humbled because you give me my spiritual nourishment for the week in these calls. I just need a few minutes to get my James and Vicky fix and I'm good. So thank you both for that. But I want to go back to the beginning, and I'll be brief. I know we're at the end here, but that scripture from Exodus 3:14, I am that I am. For some reason, I remember that as a small child, and our backgrounds are similar, going up in Catholic schools and being altar boys and things like that. But I remember back to third grade, I was not haunted, but just had this. It just held me. What is that? What does that mean? What does that mean? And I was just one of those, it's probably too complicated for somebody like me to understand. And I just would let it go. But it was always back there. What is that? I am that I am. Because, growing up Catholic like that, I was religious, but I wasn't spiritual yet. I first walked into a Unity church in 1980, but the process of my resurrection didn't begin till the end of 2008, really. And ironically, that is the same year, earlier that year, is when the Moses Code came out, March of 2008, I believe. And as I went back into a deep thing, when I was told that, I was going to die in 3 days, when I laid there in that hospital, that was one of the first books when I proved the doctors wrong that I picked up again. And there it was. I am that I am. And I love moving around the commas like you suggest. But I like to couple it with Psalm 46:10 and take that I am that I am and make it simple, because I get simple. I am that I am, and start allowing and letting it dissolve. But take, be still and know that I am God. Be still and know that. Be still and know that I am. Be still and know that I. Be still and know that. Be still. Be. When you put it to me that way, I get it. And I invite everyone to take that into their time of meditation. I am that I am. Be still and know that I am God. Thank you for letting me share, James.
Well, thank you, Stephen. It's all a reduction, isn't it? Whether we're reducing that statement, I am that I am, or be still and know that I am God, it reduces to I or be, to an experience of now. It's like clearing out the furniture of a house that, all the stuff that you don't need anymore, until you come down to that essential experience. And the I within I am is the essential experience. It is the activation point. And all we need to do, as Vicky said, is just allow it all. I mean, welcome it all. Just welcome everything. Just don't engage it. Allow it all. Allow everything to be just there. You don't need to engage anything that seems to be off. Just be there. And finally, just allow it. Just dissolve. Just let it take you. Let it take you completely. I hope you can feel that, because I can feel it happening right now in each and every single one of us. That dissolving, that releasing. So now we move out into our lives, into our day, but we bring this with us. That's why I like keeping it simple. Maybe throughout the day today, you can just remember to welcome, to allow, and to dissolve. It really is easy if we let it be. So thank you, Vicky. Thank you, Stephen. Thanks to all of you. Thanks to all of the new folks who have joined us online. We want to welcome you back anytime. We're here every day, Monday through Friday. We also have our Unity service on Sunday at 1 p.m. Eastern time. You are always welcome. It's so great just to be able to come together for 30 or 40 minutes and just get that injection of reality and truth, and to join together, and then to go out and to share that, to be that. So keep coming back, as they say. Thank you, everyone. We'll go ahead and we will close with, what should we close with? Let's close with this morning affirmation. I am not a body, I am free. For those of you who are Course in Miracles students, we've been hearing this a lot in the last recent lesson. So let's share this together. Here we go. I am as God created me. If I remain as God created me, fear has no meaning. Evil is not real, and misery and death do not exist. I am as God created me. That's all you need to know. That you are as God created you. Ain't nothing you can do to change it. There's nothing you can do to alter it. It's true now and forever. So just relax into it. Dissolve into it. Love you all. Have a beautiful day.
I love you all. Thank you.
Happy Tuesday.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bless
Bye-bye.
Love you all.
Thank
Thank
you.
Bye
you.
now.
Bye bye.
I love you all.